Hello and welcome to a new series of Off Track. From now until the start of the season, BSCDA TV will bring you in-depth driver interview, exclusive new car reveals, virtual workshop tours, and we'll catch up with any breaking news where we can. I'm as excited to go racing as you. Fingers crossed that we'll be able to do so soon. Until that time, let BSCDA TV whet your appetite. My name is Jonathan Abbott and this is Off Track 2021. Hello and welcome to the third instalment of our off-track series in 2021. This evening I'm going to be chatting to BriSCA Formula 1 superstar number 4, Dan Johnson. Dan, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us this evening.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, really looking forward to doing it.
Good. So we normally do it on a Sunday night, but we're on Monday. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. Did you have a nice Valentine's Day?
Yeah, really good. I don't think Faye would have been very happy if we were doing this yesterday. But no, yeah, really good day.
Good. So Jordan, did you spend the day opening cards? So Jordan cards, we can't see. Nobody can see Jordan apart from. Can you see Jordan, Dan?
Yeah, I can see Jordan.
He doesn't look very happy with that, does he? That question. Anyway, so good. Right. We'll jump in and we'll start talking about stock cars. So you came into Formula One at 16. So you raced mini stocks, then you went off and raced AutoGrass. Was there ever a consideration to stay racing AutoGrass, or was it always I'm going to come back on the ovals?
Yeah, definitely. The AutoGrass learned me a lot of racecraft, not just to hit each other out of the way, actually to try and work your way around people. And yeah, really had fun all the years that we did it. We was very tempted to go Grass 7 racing, but then naturally I started Formula 1 stock cars and really never looked back really. But yeah, it's been there that it's probably something that we might do when I'm probably getting a bit older and the knocks and bangs. But yeah, for the time being, we'll stick with the Formula 1s for the time being.
Yeah. So when you came in at 16, Peter Falding built your first car. So how did that relationship begin, and how much was an influence? Or Peter, right, Jordan, you need to cut that bit out. I never do this, Dan, ever, ever. So when you came into Formula One at 16, Peter Falding built your first car. I mean, how did that relationship begin, and how much of an influence was Peter on your racing career, and I guess still is for that matter?
Yeah, Peter and his dad Rod, they helped me a lot, building cars, set up, learning me to grind, weld, even down to lathe. Rod showed me how to go on with a lathe all them years ago, and it means a lot to me. And yeah, and Pete naturally then built my cars. I used to go and help him every Tuesday and Thursday night, and yeah, built a good relationship with them. And naturally, Pete helped me along to actually know what to do with a stock car, not just jump in it and race it. So yeah, and learned me really how to repair it, and the setup and everything really. So yeah, there was a big influence in my Formula One stock car career, really does.
Yeah, and has that kind of carried on to the present day, or is it less so now?
No, I do most of the stuff myself now, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be one of those stock car drivers that actually races his own cars, crashes his own cars, and repairs them himself. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
not just pay and have things off other people. And I take the enjoyment as well of spending the nights in the garage with the team, and fixing them and making them better and trying to make them faster.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what that's when we went away from not having as much involvement with the cars, but there was no fallouts or anything. It was just I wanted to do my own thing and try and take my cars. I wanted to win in my own cars as well. That's what the main thing was.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you followed your dad into Formula One stock cars, like many drivers have done. How did his advice and guidance differ from Peter's? Obviously, two very different characters.
Yeah, my dad's really he, Pete's Pete's racing was serious, wanting to win, had the big sponsors, and actually wanted to do all the meetings. And then my dad, he was just one of those that didn't really. He had it more as fun and enjoyment,
Yeah,
and wasn't that bothered. And we're more happy to go and do the Eton final, have a good night, and then go and have a beer in the bar with everyone.
yeah,
Just do a couple of meetings a month instead of doing 3 meetings a weekend. You know what I mean? My dad weren't into that. He was busy running his own businesses and bits and that. He just didn't want that involvement in the sport. He just wanted a bit of enjoyment. But Pete
yeah,
wanted to be the best, and naturally was.
yeah,
So yeah, so that I think that was the difference of them both. But both good influences, and in the end, naturally, they both pointed me to the right direction. You need to win.
yeah,
And then dad's like, don't take stick from people, get your bunker stuck in, and learn respect first, get respect off people, but then start, once you've got your respect off people and learn the craft, start getting forward and don't let people push you around. And that's what
yeah.
I learned from my dad, really.
Do you know, that respect piece has been like a running theme through these interviews that drivers talk about. You need to earn that respect from other drivers because, and it will help you in your racing career.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've seen it. Well, I've seen it in the past, and actually older drivers will have seen it even more. You see the people coming in, they don't really know how to fix the cars or repair them themselves, but they chuck a load of money at it. They come in, they're going to do this, and most of them have come from who think they're from a lot better formulas and circuit cars and stuff.
Yeah,
And yeah, if they were all like Roger Bromley, they'd be all right, but they're not. You know what I mean? Roger comes and he comes from the radicals, very good formula and circuit racing, and he takes it as it comes. But some they come in, they're going to do this, and they don't last 2 minutes, and you've got to learn respect to get yourself up there and work your way up slowly. You know what I mean? It's no good going from white to red, and then you end up going down the grades, not from pillar to post, and then it takes you 5 years to get where you should have really been in 2 years.
yeah,
Learn the respect. You know what I mean? You've got to,
yeah,
when those big boys at the back, you've got to give them a bit of a, how can you say, you know what I mean? Work with them. Don't just let them pass and then decide you're going to start trying to put the bumper in on them because you
yeah,
don't have 2 minutes. So yeah, that's what I learned off Peter. You know what I mean? Pete said, just if they're a lot faster, work with them, but let them go a little bit, tuck in behind them and watch them and learn from
yeah,
the fast boys. And I did many a time, and then sometimes like you get that where you think, oh, I'm a bit faster here than like Frankie and Andrew and people like that over the years, and I've been there, and then I end up a few times got stuck in the middle of them both, and then it's like, oh, what's going to happen here? Someone's been on the pin fence, but yeah, so that's where you've got to learn. You've got to take your time and learn your respect off the drivers, really.
yeah. Thank you for that. And Roger will be very happy that you mentioned him so soon in this interview as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. Roger's one of them. He's a character, and it's just the same. He don't race a bit more because then we all can put him in fence a bit more, can't we? So yeah,
um, moving on slightly, 2008, you won one of the sport's major championships, the European at Northampton. Were you surprised that in such a short space of time you were up there beating the best and winning major championships?
yeah. We the year before, well, 2007, I won my first tarmac final, and I was actually stuck in the middle in the European of Andy and Frank,
Yeah,
when it out, and that's when we knew he just found his feet a little bit on the tarmac. So the year after, we were trying, and naturally the European, it was just one of those. We were a bit further up the field from blue, or no, I think I was from red,
Yeah.
and managed to get a good start, and the car was really good. But to be fair, Pete did, because the night before the car, I got a lot of damage, and I didn't think that we were going to make Sunday, but we stopped up all night. Pete altered a lot of things on the front of the front axle and setup, and yeah, we straight away in the European. I knew 2 laps in, I thought this car is proper on it.
Yeah.
And we managed to just get that bit of a break, and we never looked back really. Yeah, the car was very good.
And did that give you the confidence to go, actually, I can mix it with the likes of Frank and Andrew on a weekly basis and fight for those major championships?
Yeah, definitely. I was like, that was I think my third year though then.
Yeah.
So I just got into that where hopefully, well, I've learnt a respect off them, and I was just still trying to find my feet, but I needed to start pushing a little bit, that I'm not just a young kid here, but I do want to move forward and start winning, and
Yeah.
you've got to work now to get past me, you know what I mean? I'm not just going to move out the way for you, you've got to work it, you've got to work past me now, so yeah, we started, how could we put it, just flexing the muscles a bit, and
Yeah.
a little bit hard for them, you know what I mean? But everyone, it weren't just like Frank and Andy and the top lads, it was everyone, even the chaps in my grade, you know what I mean? I was finding my feet, and yeah, we were enjoying it, and we wanted to get going and win more championships.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the main goal. Once you smell a bit of victory, you want more and more, and that's what
Yeah.
we do.
You've always been a strong contender in the shootout series over the years. Is that a championship you enjoy?
Yeah, I feel like it's some years after the world final, I've had a bit of bad luck or not the results that I wanted, and then it's a bit of a lull where you feel, oh, do you know what I mean? But then the shootout gives you that bit of a new championship to go for and fight for. And yeah, we've really enjoyed it. Some of the years we've not been that too bothered about it, but the years that we are and we feel like we're going to go for it, we have gone for it and made some bits of history. You know what I mean? We won
Yeah.
it, and we've caused a bit of aggro in the others. So yeah, we like the shootout. Yeah, it's good. Good.
Yeah. So thinking about what you mentioned about the aggro bit there, one that stands out for me was 2011 shootout final, where you took on Frankie. So Craig Finnegan was the other driver that could have won it on the night, but you and Frankie kind of entered into that battle. Did you see Frank as your main competition, hence why you took him on, if you like?
No, not really. It was a bit of payback. That's all that it was. It was nothing to do with the shootout when I did Frank. And I think Frank knew when I did him, why I did him. It was nothing to do with Silver Roof. Frank put about 4 or 5 of us, and I think I was the only one that got him back. He put us in at Northampton, and he actually put me under 3 other cars. And I think Paul Harrison were upside down on his side, and it were for the final, and it were like first 2 laps, and I just didn't see it were necessary. Yeah, we all want to win the Silver Roof, but it were a hard hit, and it didn't cause a lot of damage to my tarmac car. And I thought, yeah, you've done that now to try and win the shootout, but if I've got a chance to do the same back, I will do. And there were a chance of me winning, but it was more that I needed to. I'd got to pay Frank back one day, and that was just the time that I felt that I needed to do it. So, and there was a chance that I could have won.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a double bubble, really.
Yeah.
That's it. We know against Frank. He did what he did at Northampton, and I felt, well, I feel that's not called for, so I need to do what I want to do to either pay him back or try and win. And
Yeah.
I used to stop Frank in a way like that and win. It was even better. It weren't
Yeah.
out against Frank. It could have been any other driver on that field, but that's what I needed to do at the time, and that's what I did. And
Yeah.
we had a good, and then after that we had quite a bit of a war for I don't know, a year, 2 years, and it just, to be fair, it got ridiculous. To be fair, we were just knocking each other to bits for no point, and it was just one of those. Are we going to either carry on as we are, or are we going to try and win? Because everyone around us, we was just warring, and everyone around us was just laughing at us really, and they were like, oh look, they're going to take each other out again. And basically, in the end, it was like, well, we're not getting nowhere. Me and Frank weren't winning. I don't think we won a race hardly, because we were taking each other out. We weren't concentrating on anyone else on that field. It was just me and Frank virtually. And I just thought, was it really worth it? You know what I mean? And I felt in my heart of heart that Frank had done me, and I did Frank. So yeah, in the end, I think we're all right. It's stock car racing, isn't it? At the end of the day, but we never fell out off track. It was always on track. So that was good. But yeah, no, I feel like me and Frank are all right now.
So did you have a conversation to go, look, this ain't going us nowhere? Do you know what I mean? We're taking each other out. We need to draw a line under it, or just naturally fizzle out.
Yeah, I think I'll be honest. I think I said to him, I said, "What are we doing? What are we doing here? What is the beneficial?" In the day, it's not like one's carrying from the other one, because we can carry on warring and just knock each other to bits, knock cars to bits. But all we were doing were benefiting everyone else.
Yeah.
And it was like, in the end, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you're running for a championship and he's going to take me out, all right. But we weren't. We were doing it in heats and like Grand Nationals, and it's like, yeah, brilliant. Do you know what I mean? It was good for crowd and everything, but it was just like, we're just not getting nowhere. You know what I mean? Let's just, so if you want to carry it on, let's carry on. But let's start racing, and naturally, we're not going to not touch each other, but let's just, instead of following each other in and trying to destroy each other, let's just knock it on the head if you want. And I think at the end we said, well, let's just see how we get on. But it was just getting stupid, you know, just absolute. But it was good for the stock car racing. But in the end, you know what I mean? I don't think we would have, me or Frank would have never won anything else, you know what I mean? Because we were just concentrating on each other. And it was like, but yeah, but I like in my eyes that Frank did me at Northampton, and the rest of them, really, the rest of them should have been, because I think it went too easy. To be fair, hats off to him, it was a proper stock car.
Yeah.
We don't follow each other into it, but it wasn't a proper stock car hit, you know what I mean? And it did cause a lot of damage. And to be fair, my car was wrecked, and we got it out for the Grand National at Northampton, but the rest of the boys, they had to trailer it off. It was just horrendous. There were cars, you couldn't have got so many stock cars in so small a gap. It was just, there were cars on top of each other, wings into each other's cabs, and I just felt like, oh, I've got to get back for that.
I do remember it. I mean, because it is one of those, and there's a famous picture, isn't there, of Lee Fairhurst, because he was involved, wasn't he? It was one of those famous shootout stock car moments. But I think I certainly didn't realise that the payback for Frank was as a result of that at Bellevue.
Yeah, I bought it down the lane, to be fair, because he actually borrowed. Frank's car was rubbish. It was absolutely, his tarmac car, it was rubbish, and Dan let him use his tarmac car, and at the time it was Rapid.
Yeah.
And that's what Frank, I think he won and then he went on to win the final, and then I think he got fifth or something in the Grand National. Yeah, so really it was Dan's fault, because the car was Rapid.
Yeah, you're blaming him for it. Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. It was really, really interesting. Thank you. So in terms of when you won the shootout, that was in 2015, when you had like a really quite a quiet start and sort of pretty much under the radar, then came good at the end. It almost seems that's the best way, and that's the way you do win the shootout, because you're not on people's radar right at the very beginning.
Yeah, it's probably not the funniest way to win it. But yeah, we had, to be fair, we had 3 bad rounds early on, and we managed to, like, the shell car was very quick and very good, and we managed to just, I don't know, stay out of trouble and just let all them, I know Robert and we managed to just stay out of trouble, and it was easy. You know what I mean? Really easy. Yeah, so that were it really. It was probably the easiest championship that I've won as such. And it was the silver roof, so that's one of the hardest ones to win.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
So just putting Frank to one side for 1 second, when you're in a championship race, and there's 30 other cars on the track, do you kind of identify, right, I need to beat that particular person, or is it like I just need to beat 29 others? Do you kind of focus on particular drivers you need to beat to win a championship event?
You always really concentrate on that car in front.
Okay.
That's where I always are. Take it as every car as it comes, you know what I mean? You get to know who you can just go up the inside of, and you get to know he's going to mess me about for 2 laps, not let me pass, and then when I do get past, he's going to niggle at the other end, or he's going to put me over the fence. So you learn. Every driver you could write a book of how they are to pass. You know what I mean? Every driver's pretty. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say that's all you concentrate on, even in championships. Is naturally if someone's around you that you owe them or they owe you, you're always a little bit, but unless you're really scared of them, you just carry on. If they're going to put you through it, they're going to put you through anyway, aren't they? So, and sometimes if you're looking in your mirror, when I first started, to be fair, I raced probably nearly a year without my mirror because it was just throwing me off. I was forever looking in the mirror, and when you're looking in your mirror, you're looking behind, you're not looking in front. So straight away, you don't know what you're dealing with in front. So I've always just concentrate what your next car, if you know what I mean. Actually, you're always looking a little bit in front, but I always believe if you're overtaking a car, 2 cars a lap, actually at the start you can overtake 10 cars, 15 cars. You know what I mean? If there's a big pile or something like that. But when the race unfolds, you know what I mean? You're a car, 2 cars, 3 cars. You know what I mean? You're always concentrating on them.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? That's where I always not really bothered overwhelming with. You know what I mean? We just want to get forward.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. You yet to win the British Championship. I'm sure you will. But I think most fans will remember that. I think it's 2013, that monster crash at Buxton that involved Matt Newsom and Craig Finnegan down the back straight when you were sat up against the fence. How scary was that for you? I mean, do you know much about it? What went on with that?
Can't remember a thing.
Really?
No. Robert knew Robert Street. He knew that I was the quickest all day. There was no one really around us. There were me and him that were fast round Buxton. And he knew he'd got one chance. And naturally, Robert, he didn't miss that chance. I think he was about 3-4 car lengths off me going into the bend. And he did virtually what he did to move it. You know what I mean? He's got it timed perfectly at Buxton going down that hill. That's what Robert did. There were no arguments or anything. That's what Robert wanted to do, and that's what he had to do to win. Yeah. And to be fair, it did bugger him up a little bit because it cost him a lot of time doing it, and then Lee ended up winning. But no, when Robert hit me, he hit me that hard. What I remember is when he hit me, it made my feet come off the pedals. He hit me that hard, believe it or not. It's probably one of the hardest hits I've ever had in a stock car.
Really?
He hit me going down the hill at Buxton. Yeah. And that just never lifted. We never went in the fence with me on the video. You know what I mean? It was just a proper stock car hit. And he hit me that hard. My feet came off the pedals. Well, naturally, by the time you've got your feet organised to get on the brake pedal, I was in the fence, and then I can't remember anything else after that. Really? So yeah, that was that really. But to be fair, it killed my car. When Matt hit me going down the straight, it laddered all the chassis. So the inside chassis rail was about 15 inch it just lathered everything, bust all the bell housing, gearbox, it just destroyed it. So Matt's car looked horrendous.
Yeah.
Actually, mine, it did all the firewall. To be fair, it could have caused me and Craig, and the other drivers involved, could have caused us. I think we were all lucky that day. Especially at Buxton, you are tramming down them straights. But no, I can't remember anything. I can't remember. I think I can remember getting on the bus that without it. But Robert had to do what he wanted. He needed to do to win, and he was unlucky not to win. That was probably the hardest hit there. And that's why I got Robert the commentary.
Okay.
That's why. And me and Robert laughed for about 2 years about it. I've always got on very well with Robert. And Robert knew I was going to get him back. It was just a matter of time because we kept having a laugh and a joke about it. But Robert, like I took it well. You know what I mean? When Robert did me and Robert took it, we were laughing and joking about it after. You know what I mean? And he knew it was coming, and he said, I know it was coming. And that really, so hats off to Robert, you know what I mean, proper, just really proper stock car driver. Same with Frank, we all, that's what we all love it, but we all like to get stuck in, and none of us will give in as such, will we?
So in the last sort of 10-15 minutes, we've covered off your involvement in some very famous stock car moments. It's brilliant. And another one, we'll talk about another one. So when I interviewed Stuart Smith in the last lockdown, we talked about the World Final at Ipswich and your last spin dive on Nigel Green, which unfortunately didn't pay off going into the last corner. So looking back, do you still think it was the right thing to do? And I guess, was that move born out of frustration on your part?
It was stupid, right? Really. It was stupid. I don't know, I just he outfoxed me on one of the starts. Well, both starts really. It just timed him perfect, and which I just felt I know he was playing with us near the end. You know what I mean? He didn't want to. You know what I mean? He didn't want to risk something going wrong with gearbox or something like that. So he went on his limit, but we were. And I did feel that 3 laps to go that I actually come to him a little bit, and I thought, and I've got in my head a lap to go. I've got in my head, I'm having to go. I'm not bothered if I don't finish that. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay. And
going down that back straight, once you're committed to do something, you've got to do it, haven't you, in life? You know what I mean? You can't just, if you decide at last minute, oh no, you're not going to do it properly if you do decide to do it. So I've got in my head going down that back straight that I was going through. And to be fair, if I class myself, you know what I mean, if I wanted to have done a dirty move, I could have gone all over the freeway track and properly got him, but then I wouldn't have been a worthy world champion, so I didn't opt for that. So I thought I'm going to try my best to do a clean last bend lunge at him, and I just got my wheel on the front curb, and it made me airborne. I don't think I would have got him anyway, but that's what made me lose all traction on the front wheels, and the car just went flying into a fence. And at that time, it just knocked me clean out. It put my seat into my car, which just it littered the car, all the back axle hanging off. It just shook everything to bits. So looking back, the Tuesday night after the World Final in the garage, looking at the car, I thought that wasn't a good idea. Everyone will remember the World Final for how stupid I were. It's actually exciting, but like Stuart has said, and we've said it before, you know what I mean? We're there to win, aren't we? You know what I mean? If we're happy to come second, really, should we be doing it? I don't know, I've come second so many times and third, and like Pete Falding, everyone says, oh, you're first loser, second's first loser, you're bridesmaid, and I've had all that, and
Yeah.
were I bothered about it again? No. And will I be bothered about it when we start back properly stock car racing for the World Final? No. So if anyone's leaving again, just be careful. I mean, I will, and that's what I wanted to do. I'm not one of them. I don't need to win, but I want to be a proper stock car driver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think how many stock car drivers that have tried that and over the years actually succeeded. So it only needed Nigel to get hold it up a little bit or hesitate in that corner, thinking, oh, I'm going into last bend at World Final, and hesitate a bit more than he did. And who knows? We both probably would have been in Northampton Town Centre. So, but no, but hats off to Nigel. He was the man all year. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think it was only me that could have taken it to him, a speed. And but Nigel, he got that tarmac car absolutely on. You know what I mean? And we just couldn't match that speed, but we tried. We tried even more on last bend to be world champion, but it didn't happen. You know what I mean? But it's no one can say, oh well, he could have tried and had a last bend on him. You know what I mean? I did, and it didn't work. So that's it. End up. You know what I mean?
It definitely. It wasn't stupid, and it is very momentous. Do you know what I mean? It sticks out. It's not stupid. So so Stuart mentioned that he'd seen what you'd done. Comes up behind you, picks you up, and pushes you around the track. And I was there watching. Everybody's applauding you. Did you know what was going on? No.
I've been knocked out twice, and that's it. A lot of drivers won't admit that they've been knocked out. At the end of the day, if you have, you have. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with me in the headlight. You know what I mean? There's no wrong. There's a lot more drivers that's been knocked out going after Glan's fence. You know what I mean? They knock themselves out. So yeah, the two times I have been knocked out have been big hits. You know what I mean? Yeah. At Buxton, that was a massive hit. And then actually hit Church because I hit it actually on the back end, on the offside back end, and it just. And yeah, apart from that, so yeah, when Stuart came to push me around, I couldn't remember it. I know it killed my clutch. So yeah, thanks, Stuart. It was good, really, what Stuart did, because naturally Stuart appreciated what I did, because like Stuart's a proper stock car driver, you know what I mean. And Stuart, he did it. He did it at British at Kingsland, tried getting Paul Harrison.
Yeah.
And Stuart actually, he did it like what I did really. Stuart was probably same distance, and Stuart was very, very close.
Yeah.
But then look at Stuart at the British on that Newson. So one didn't work. So hopefully next time I do try it, it works. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you don't have a go. You don't have a go. You'll never know, or you'll. I'm one of them. You know what I mean? I like to just have a go. You know what I mean? If you don't try, it's like stuff at work, or you know what I mean, or even building stuff, not the stock car wise, like in the garden or anything. You know what I mean? There's nothing that I won't have a go at. So I believe if you don't try, you'll find out. If you can't do it, you can't. But if you at least just try, you know what I mean? You've had a go, haven't you? No one can say, "Oh, you try, you didn't. You should try." You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I did.
And we mentioned Stuart, and following his kind of, I guess, unfortunate retirement, he was helping you a bit at the track, certainly, certainly at Hednesford. Was that something that you, I guess, was beneficial, and do you think it will carry on, or was you just in that moment in time then?
Yeah, definitely. I would. To be fair, I feel like I haven't given Stuart enough of my own time. Down to family problems. My dad fell ill around that kind of time, and really, and naturally busy at work and other issues. It's just like I've got 2 boys and a wife. So, but I need to give that stock car. I need to give it some more time. You know what I mean? So I felt a bit guilty because Stuart wanted to give me loads of time and effort, but it's like I wasn't repaying the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, Stuart was like, well, let's try this, that I'll ring you, because me and Stuart live quite far away. And Stuart was like, right, we'll come, we'll cut your tarmac car to bits and try different things. Because as it is, we were sat still, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's not much more that we can do with the car to get it drastically better, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we might alter it and we might get it drastically worse, but at least we've tried, and then we can try and move forward with them. So Stuart wanted to try different things, a bit what he's tried on his cars and bits, and like, I think in future he'll probably do make cars, because I don't have time now. So I'm sure when the job sorts itself out and this corona, and we know what we're doing and know how many meetings, and make sure that stock cars are still full at it, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
full season, then I'll probably think, well, let's invest some more money into the job and have probably a new show car off Stuart, because Stuart wants to try different things, and I'd be happy for him to do that. I'd probably keep the shell car that I've got now, and let Stuart try things with a new car.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's loads of things in the pipeline that me and Stuart want to do. And Stuart is very clever. Just talking to Stuart, people just think that he's learned everything off his dad and his brother, and that, and yeah, he's probably learned a lot. But Stuart will sit and look and learn and on the internet and looking at other different things, not even to do with race cars, but just how things work to make so what you could adapt to a race car, like a dragster or stuff like that. And he'd be looking at the suspension and different things of angles and that, and I'd be like, I don't know what you're on about, you know what I mean? But he does it, and that's what he looks at, and to bring into Formula One stock cars, you know what I mean? And like, and that's some of the stuff he says, and it doesn't ring, you know what I mean? You don't think, well, that won't work, you know what I mean? But obviously he's won what he's won, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hopefully one day, I know he might, but he might not, but you just never know. Hopefully he might have another go, or so if he'll run my cars and he wants to have a quick go in it or anything, he'd be welcome, you know what I mean? So yeah, but Stuart is going back to that, some like at Ennisfield, some of the things he was saying I've never even thought about, you know what I mean? You think, well, why would that matter on a Formula One stock car, you know what I mean? It's not even anything to do with any race cars and that, but it's just the different meanings of things as well, you know what I mean? So yeah, he's Stuart, he does know what he's on about.
It sounds like it could be a very exciting partnership going forward, and which is great news. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Just after the 2017 World Final, both your cars and transporter went up for sale. Was it, I guess, the failure in that race, if you like, that prompted that decision, or was it something a bit more long term? And I guess, how serious were you about giving up the sport?
I just lost interest. And my dad lost interest, and it was just the same old stock car. I don't know. I just thought, to be fair, we've got all this money tied up in bits and bats, and I just thought, and it's the time as well. And at the time, it was actually, I just lost interest completely. I thought that saloon stock cars were going to be the best thing since last week, and I was going to enjoy them. So I had to go in one of my friend's cars at Skegness, and it was okay, but nothing compared to a Formula One stock car.
Yeah.
That is for, yeah, they might crash and bang and make sparks on side of fence, and yeah, they are a good formula, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But once you drove a Formula One stock car and then got in a saloon car, and don't even, they're not on the same car.
Yeah.
I know a few lads have come out of saloons and gone to Formula One. Sean, I'm very good friends with Sean, and he says the same. He says stock cars, once your car's right, you know what I mean, they're very, very hard to do, to race
Yeah.
into, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I just thought. I'm gonna sell all I'm gonna sell all my cars, sell my truck, probably just have one saloon, a bit of a smaller transporter, and just play at it and do a couple of meetings every month.
Yeah.
And then I had a go in one, and I just thought, this isn't for me. I've got,
Yeah.
and then I had like 3 months where we didn't do no racing, and then all winter I didn't touch the cars hardly, and then it was like, to be fair, I had a lot of people that were interested in the cars, but I weren't in a rush to sell them. I didn't need them. It's not like I needed the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's going to be sold, they'd be sold same in my race, but they'd be sold for a lot of money. So I did have them advertised at strong money, and no one really came up with the money that I wanted. And then we decided, to be fair, if I sell all the stuff, all the spares, I mean, we'll never get back into it. And then
No.
Dad says, just park them in the garage, decide what you want to do. If you want to do it, just carry on and do it. That's what we did. And then I had a big push, did both of the cars up, painted them all orange, I think. I don't think they were all back to camouflage and orange and that. And that's when we decided, well, let's go for it. I'm glad that we carried on and didn't sell the cars, because we might have never got back into it.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I thought, we'll buy a saloon. It's going to be the best thing since sliced bread, and it worked for me.
No.
Not saying I'll never ever go in one ever again, or if I decide I'm going to run stock cars and then have a saloon stock, just have a play rankings in or somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm not interested in having a go in one again, but not to do full time. And once you're into your formula, once you've had a go in stock cars and that, I don't think you know what I mean? There's nothing else that compliment, you know what I mean? It's good.
Thank you. Brilliant. Lovely, thank you. So over the course of your career, you've had quite an intense rivalry with Tom Harris. Understandably, you've got kind of two drivers of a similar age at the top of the sport, so it's going to be there. But was there a moment, do you recall, when it all kind of started, if you like?
Not really. I don't know. I took Tom out at Skegness, and I don't think you were too happy about that. I think he was winning the world final round Skegness. I'd come from the back, and I felt I was fast enough to win, but I wasn't as fast as Tom. He was the only car that was fast. Well, faster. He was rapid that year. You know what I mean? And I think if any other proper stock car driver was behind him, he would have been in the same place as I put him. And there were no hard feelings. I wanted to win. That's all I wanted to do. And naturally, to win, I've got to take Tom out.
Yeah.
So, that's what I did. And to be fair, it was a good shot. And then I think it just spiraled from there. We had a bit of a dispute in America with some good friends of mine. And he said that he was going to put me in the fence at Coventry. So I thought, well, I better get in there first. So I put him in the fence before he got a chance. And that was it. And then ever since that, it's just been what it is, really. And you've got feelings, I would, you know what I mean, if you broke down at side of motorway or with a race truck or anything like that, I'd help him, you know what I mean, we'd stop. We're not like, you know, it's not like we're at war and don't really talk, you know what I mean. Yeah, there's been a couple of meetings where there's been a bit of mechanics and that, having a bit of it to do and that, but nothing family wise, you know what I mean. And that, and at the end of the day, sometimes it's water under the bridge, isn't it? You know what I mean? But naturally, Tom wants to win. Tom's won a lot. You know what I mean? That is Tom. Tom wants to win. That means he needs to win. And yeah, he has won. I'm a bit different. I've got my family, I've got my work, businesses, you know what I mean? And stock cars it means a lot to me, but it isn't everything. And
yes.
when I go stock car racing, I like to have a laugh, really. And you know, when I'm racing around, and I'm laughing to myself, you know what I mean, with stuff that's happened or other things, you know what I mean, or you see other drivers falling out on track and that's what I go for. I don't go to be happy to come second, you know what I mean, and I'm not scared of getting involved, same as Tom. I think that's why we've never gelled, if you know what I mean, because we are very similar people, you know what I mean. He wants to win, I want to win. He's not scared of sticking bumpering, I'm not. I would say we're both probably a little bit hot-headed when we get in stock cars. Yeah, so that's all it is really. There's nothing about it, but I don't think it'll ever. Might have a couple of years where it calms down a bit, and we've got to calm it down a bit. Or I mean, I don't know. I just like, yeah, I'm happy to go and race and win. You know what I mean? But I know he's got a few rivalries as well now. And he's not racing that much back end of last year. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's more people than just me that he's got, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but the same with me, you know what I mean? I've got people that still owe me probably. So yeah, I think when stock car does come back out, but I think my mindset is in a different place to it has been for quite a few years, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm going to be a bit more concentrated when I do come stock caring. Instead of rushing around on a Saturday at 1 o'clock, getting my car ready, to chuck in the race truck to go racing, do you know what I mean? They'll all be done Friday night, all sat like some of the other lads, you know what I mean? All proper done. Instead of chucking bent rims on, it'll be, you know what I mean? You know, I just want to have that more professional approach to it instead of just chucking the car to bits. You know, like.
So what's prompted that thought? What's prompted that change, I guess?
I don't know, bit of time out and thinking, well, if I want to win the big ones and to do well and that, I think I need to spend more time, not money really, because money don't get you money doesn't actually win your races, to be fair.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that, or you need loads of money and you need to chuck money at it like nobody knows, you know what I mean? Yeah, you've got to have fair money in your tackle, but it's more the time, prep, make sure everything's straight, make sure your shockers are working right, and make sure you scale it every meeting. We've gone to meetings where we've not scaled it for 3 or 4 meetings, and it's like, you know what I mean? It is nearly a full-time job now.
Yeah.
So, like I said, my monitor's just off.
You'll cut this bit out, Dan, don't worry.
I'm not bothered anyway, you've got to have technical issues. So yeah, so that's what's prompted really my mentality really, that I want to basically spend more time on the cars. My boys, my 2 lads, Freddie and George, they're getting older now, so on a weekend and on a Friday night or a Thursday night, you know what I mean, they can come in. I know they've got school next day, but they can come in for an hour and just help us a little bit, you know, and they're getting to that age where you know what a spanner is. I know it's not good to say, but you know what a spanner and a screwdriver and a hammer is, and you know I want them to learn like my dad did with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we need to spend more time, and the garage is all done now. Where we've done the cars, we've always done the cars where everything's just chucked everywhere. There's stuff, spanners and no tools, and you know what I mean. We had all the stuff, but just nothing were organised. So you'd spend 15 minutes to try and find a 13mm spanner. Well, now we have a proper, you know what I mean. Everything's organised. You need a grinding disc for the grinder. 10 minutes, we've got to look for one. Oh, we haven't got one. So yeah, we just want to spend more time on the cars before we even get to the track, instead of chucking it in the race truck and then hope for the best. You know what I mean? I want to. I don't know. different mentality, and I just want to, and probably, I don't know, try and stay out of the way a bit. You know what I mean? And get me cars fast, you know what I mean? I know sometimes that won't happen, and some lads won't let me do that, you know what I mean? But just try different things as well, and with Stuart helping a little bit, even if he is on the end of the phone, you know what I mean? Just when I'm in the garage, right, Stuart, this isn't working, or this isn't doing this, or this pad ain't working here, and do you know what I mean? Just pressures here and everything. I just want to try different things, and if we stay as we are, we're just never going to be the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, makes sense.
I want to try, and we all want that gold roof. But even if I never get it, I'm not bothered as long as I've done my best.
Yeah.
You know, that I can possibly do.
Do you think now's the time to do that then, or almost to kind of go, right, so I've won this, I've done this, I've been really good, but I want that, and do you think now's the time that you've got to do it?
Yeah, I'm not bothered if someone thinks, oh well, he's never going to have that because I'm never going to let him win World Final or British or another European or whatever championship. I'm not bothered about that, but I just want to try, so I know that I couldn't have tried any harder.
Yeah.
But for the last 5-6 years, I haven't tried hard enough. You know what I mean? It's like just rushing things, and even mechanically, you know what I mean? Just it'll be all right, just leave it, it'll be all right. You know what I mean? Well, no, let's not bother going on Saturday, because actually, car is not right. And let's make it right. Instead of going racing on Saturday night, let's not go to a non-whatever meeting where cars chucked to bits, and let's have Saturday and Sunday actually making it better for that big championship the week after. You know what I mean? So yeah, I know I probably get a lot of stuff like that because people are like, oh, well, you should race every meeting and do everything. Yeah, but I don't want to go if the cars are not right. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. You know, in my mind, I just want to. When I do go racing, I want to have good tyres. I want to, you know what I mean, have the best rally tyres. So yeah, that's what I want to do, and probably do less but more quality.
Yeah.
Out the cars. So that's what I'm planning to do.
Lovely, thank you, Dan. Before we break, I guess just a final question for this part is, would the driver rivalry piece, you know, fans love it. It generates that huge engagement piece at a stock car track. Was that on your mind when you did your famous dance-off at Kings Lynn? Was it all about entertaining the crowd?
No, we're entertaining Tom, really. That's what it remember. No, to be fair, we've got those new earpieces.
Yes.
And I blame Sophie, to be fair. I know no one really blames Sophie, but I do blame Sophie because
okay.
she put it on the wrong channel. She'll say she Sophie Clark put my radio receiver on the wrong channel. In the final, the yellows came out. I was still racing, expecting this yellow flags, like we'd been told by Steve Abbott at the meeting before the meeting, and I was waiting for that, and I didn't hear that. I weren't looking for yellow flags. I was waiting for that yellow that we meant to say. So I was still racing, and Tom was in front. So I decided, well, move out of the way, Tom. You know what I mean? I'm coming through. And I ended up in the side rail that hit his back axle, that knocked his back axle out, knocked the prop off, whatever else it did. So as you can imagine, Tom was not happy.
No.
I could understand. But at the time, I went expecting for him to come at 100 miles an hour down centre green, run into my car, and I thought, well, is he going to have a swing at this? Is he going to try and do something that you shouldn't do, but who knows what's going to happen? I thought, well, this is all right, but I'm actually sat in my car, my seatbelt's on, my helmet, what can I actually do?
Yeah.
I thought, there's no way I'm sitting in this car letting someone else do whatever they probably would have probably done or what they thought they might have done. So I was straight out of the car. I didn't care if I was going to get put on 70 green or loaded up or whatever. I was out, and I'm a man, you know what I mean? I was out, and right, what's the problem? Anyway, and he was talking that fast, and I couldn't understand him. And next thing he was going, going mad at me. And I was like, what? What's up? Because I didn't realise that I'd done anything wrong.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because then I thought the yellows came out after that, when I'd seen the yellow flags. So anyway, long story short, I watched the week before the hot rod driver, and I showed George and Freddie, my little lads, the video of the hot rod driver dancing to the stupid crazy music.
Right.
And I thought, what a better time. There's no better time to do that than now. So as I was walking away, I thought, well, let's have a quick dance.
Yeah.
To there, it went down brilliant.
It did.
Yeah, so I got people sending me Facebook messages, them and the kids all dancing around the living rooms, dancing to the same music. And I don't know where you, Jordan, Jordan, I think someone did a video, and me dancing to the crazy music. Well,
Yes.
yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? And that's what stock cars need a bit more of. They need a bit like olden days where, bless his soul, Stuart Smith came in the like I never seen it, but it came over the top where he were late for meetings, and then he turned up in a Rolls Royce and come on the track, and all stuff from years ago that you've heard that you were like, that is entertainment, and that's what stock cars needs. I don't care. People come, they'll come to watch fast cars going around the track, or go and stand there for shale splitting in the face, or smell of petrol and stuff like that. But they want to be entertained. Do you know what I mean? I think if we can try and entertain the crowd as well as let it, even what they actually come for week out, I think, once in a blue moon, just even if it's a bit of an act, or two drivers having a bit of a laugh and stuff like that, you know what I mean? I think it needs more characters.
Yes.
Out the shells a bit and to have a laugh about it. You know?
Yeah, I'm a big believer that the success of stock cars, it needs characters. It needs to kind of like create this drama, not create drama. It needs the drama. It needs to bring people back week after week to go, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Yeah, it does. You're right.
Like Rob Cowley. You know what I mean? Years ago, he used to on parades. He used to be on his laid down on his aerofoil. You know what I mean? Just stupid stuff like that. But people remember people for stupid and good stuff. And if people remember me in years and years to go, dancing down or dancing this, or whatever. But at the time, I just thought, I'm not bothered. You know what I mean? You can shout as much as you want.
Yeah.
You know, until I'm blue in face or you're blue in face. I'm not bothered. I'm not falling out. And that's what I thought. I thought, well, at the time, I thought, well, that's a bit strange how he's come shouting and bawling at me. And yeah, that was it. So that was the start of the new season, as you'd call it.
It was.
Tom did me at Skegness or wherever, and then I did a dance again. And then I did him at Bellevue, and then really that was it really. So I don't know who owns who, to be fair. But I'm sure we'll get to that, won't we? But like I said, it's all good for the sport.
Yes.
As long as it's all kept sensible and no one gets it, and actually no one wants to get hurt. Because actually we've all got kids and families now, me and Tom. So yeah, like I said, it's just one of them. But like I said, at the time, I just had that crazy thought in my head, and I thought, no one's really going to see it, actually. And, you know what I mean? I didn't think that everyone was going to go ballistic and people videos and pictures and everything. And it got blown up as much as it did, you know.
It did. It was a big thing.
Yeah, so it was good, really. And all kids liked it and bits. And my two boys, they think it's brilliant. We watched it over Christmas. We put it on YouTube, and can we watch it again? Dad, you're so silly. All right, thank you. But yeah, it was good, and like probably they'll watch it back in 10 years' time when they're a bit older, and we'll look and say, Dad, you're stupid. But Dad liked it, and yeah, it was good. And I think that's the only thing wrong with stock cars at the moment needs that bit more. It's like Dash for the Cashes. Where are they gone? They were the best thing ever invented for stock car racing. They just gelled. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, they knocked us cars to bits. I'd love to do a Dash for the Cash, but proper. You know what I mean? That were the best, like, round Sheffield. I know Paul Butler used to nearly do his race boxing, like, Paul, you know what I mean? That's what it did make it, Paul. Shouting about it, and it made everyone. I remember it as a kid, you know what I mean? And then Dash for the Cash around Sheffield. If we could bring that back a little bit, you know what I mean? I think it would do the sport a world of good. No one can get hurt, do you know what I mean? But I just think it were, and it's not even the money side of it. It's more the, oh, it's Dash for the Cash, and you know, it's winner takes all. You know what I mean? We never have that now, do we? You know what I mean? It's well, if I come second, I might get 100. You know what I mean? I might get this, I might get that. You know what I mean? Like hopefully at Bradford, if we're racing, everything's right. You know what I mean? Even after the Grand National, put a Dash for the Cash on. You know what I mean? Just even if it's not a lot of money, just winner takes all. You know what I mean? And I just think they were good. You know what I mean? They brought that start back to the racing. And
I watched one a couple of months ago, the one at Sheffield with Andrew, Frank, John Lund, and it was like, Paul Butler was hoarse by the end of it. Yeah,
but it was good, and Paul made it. How can you put it? You didn't really want it to end, did you? You know what I mean?
No.
It was weird, to be fair. But I've watched more, to be fair, and I think Sheffield is a good place that just needs that bit of a spark back. I know Defence is what it is, but them Dash for the Cash has been you can't say about them that wasn't. You know what I mean? I just think we could bring that back a little bit. Even if it's not just for superstars and red tops, you know what I mean? I know we do whites and yellows race and stuff like that, or do, I don't know, 2 whites in the race, 2 yellows, 2 blues, and 2 reds, and 2 superstars. You know what I mean? Drawn out a hat or something like that. A bit like it'd be a bit. I'm not saying it is like New Zealand racing, but a bit like when they do a run-off or stuff like that. I think it just, we've never really got that run-off job in England. We've never really got it. You know, we've never mastered it really. So I think sometimes you've got to have a runner to go. You know what I mean? It does take some balls. And I don't know. I just think that we just need to do something to like.
Maybe Steve Rees will watch this, and you've given him some ideas for when Bradford comes back in a few months' time. So fingers crossed. Dan, thank you so much. We're gonna. That is the end of part 1 with Dan Johnson. It's been absolutely fantastic listening to you. Tune back in for part 2.